Well, hey Embrace, it's Adam. I hope this finds you well. Know that I've been praying for all of you during this time. To put it lightly, we miss seeing all of you so very much. And I'm grateful for technology and what that allows us to do. It's truly been amazing to see God at work over these last 8-9 weeks, seeing people grow in their relationship with Jesus, seeing people make decisions for Christ. I've had a group of people say, hey Adam, as soon as we're able to, I want to get baptized. I want to reaffirm my baptism and make that a public thing. And so God is moving in so many ways, and yet the team and I, we miss seeing all of you so very much. Well, today I wanted to come and just share an update with all of you. Over the last 9 weeks, like many of you have, we've been listening closely to what our elected officials have been saying. Guidelines on how we can properly leave our house in a safe way. Guidelines for small businesses, and also guidelines for churches. Well, just as of last week, our officials have said that with proper, clear guidelines, that we can begin gathering for worship services once again. In addition to that, I've also been talking with local pastors to find out what their plans are, in hopes that we wouldn't just open on our own, but instead we do so on a similar timeline to other churches and what they're doing. Just to say it, in my own conversations with many of you, there are some of you who are saying, why did we ever close in the first place? Things should go back to normal 9 weeks ago. While others of you are saying, hey, I don't plan on going back to any resemblance of normal for another 9 weeks or maybe months. There's this huge spectrum. My encouragement and also my challenge to you would be to extend grace to the person who thinks differently than you do. That's a good way to approach life, whether it's friendships, relationships with neighbors, politics, whatever it might be. Extend grace to the person who thinks differently than you do. As strongly as I can say it, as a church, we want to be wise. We have not felt any pressure or any need to reopen services really quickly. Technically, we could have gathered for worship as of last week, but we do not want to rush back into things. And I say this not for our own protection. I know for many of us, our families are completely healthy, but for the protection of those who are vulnerable. Being wise is a simple way that we can love each other. On the flip side of that, I know that right now, depression, suicide, abuse rates, addiction rates are skyrocketing. People who are otherwise completely healthy are struggling and longing for human interaction. Well, in light of all of that, I am cautiously excited to say that we'll be starting physical services once again on Sunday, May 24th. Starting Sunday, May 24th. That Sunday, I'll be kicking off a brand new series called Great Expectations, a series that I'm hoping will be hope-filled and encouraging to all of us. Excited about that, but just to say it very, very clearly, things will not be going back to normal. Our plan is to very closely follow the 50% occupancy guidelines that have been set by our elected officials. We cannot go over 50%, and we will not go over 50%. We also need to remain socially distanced from each other. Because of this, we know that some people will be turned away at the doors because of space, simply because of space during our larger service times. To help with space, though, we've decided to add additional seating wherever we can throughout our buildings. We'll also be adding additional worship services at our 57th Street campus, at our Tea campus, and possibly at our St Croix campus as well. If you are able to attend one of these new service times, I'd strongly encourage you to do that, knowing that it will be a smaller turnout for those services. A couple of things to say: if you are older, if you are at risk, if you don't feel comfortable for any reason, know that we totally respect that. We would ask that you would please continue to attend online services only. Our services will continue to be offered online as we've been doing so. We're actually going to be adding in an additional online service because of it. For those of you who do choose to attend a physical service, as much as we possibly can, we're hoping to make it a touch-free experience. We won't be shaking hands. You don't have to open any doors. Coffee won't be served. You'll be able to come in and go out with very, very little touching, the least amount possible. Also, between services, we'll be cleaning our spaces as best as we possibly can. One more thing, and this is a big thing, at least it's a big thing for my family, for our kids, as of right now, we will not be offering e-kids or nursery at our physical campuses. We will not be offering them at our physical campuses. Kids can attend the services with their parents, no question, but again, we won't be having e-kids or the nursery offered at our physical campuses. We will, however, continue to offer e-kids online on Sundays, as well as youth online on Wednesday nights. As a parent who has kids in both of those things, it has been so top-notch. I am so proud of our team, our staff, our volunteers, but again, we will not be having physical e-kids or nursery on Sundays. So that is a lot to take in. That's a lot to take in. You might need to kind of push rewind and watch it once again. But as we step into this new place, I just want to say I'm guessing that our guidelines will continue to change on a weekly basis. And if needed, know that we'll continue to make adjustments on a weekly basis if needed as possible. Like we'll make changes very, very quickly. Honestly, it's possible in the weeks ahead that we may need to shut down physical services again. That's an option that's very, very likely. And so I just want to make that up front. In the weeks to come, though, I just want to encourage you with a couple of things. Please, first off, continue to be praying for people. Pray for our city officials. Pray for those in healthcare. Pray for those who are vulnerable. Pray for our small business owners. Pray for those struggling with depression, with anxiety, with addiction, with suicide, just temptations, whatever it might be. Please continue to faithfully pray. Also, please stay tuned to our social media along with email for any changes that we share. We'll quickly do so. If we make a decision, you will hear about it almost immediately. But again, I look forward to worshiping with all of you on May 24th, and I have no doubt that God is going to continue to move in a wonderful, wonderful way. And I cannot wait to see the next person that will be reached for Jesus during this time. So thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful day.